Tonight on Missing Persons Unit, a parent's worst nightmare.
Just want your home, Bridge. Come home.
A daughter missing for a week and determined not to be found.
I'm pretty sure that she's steering clear of the area because she knows that we're trying to find her.
She was hanging around the wrong people. They were trying to get her into drugs and everything.
What sort of drugs?
Everything.
A beloved grandmother with dementia is lost on the streets of Sydney.
Is she on any medication at all?
Yes, for dementia.
Does she have that with her, do you know?
No.
A reverse case for the Missing Persons Unit. An unknown body is found, but who out there is missing them?
It's more motivating to know that science is able to help someone in grief and put closure and start the grieving process.
So, do you want me to go that way?
One can go through that entrance.
And Constable Liz loses her patience with an A-grade student who keeps running away.
Can you imagine what your mum would be feeling every single night when she went to bed? Where's my daughter? Is she dead in a ditch? Has she been raped? Has she been murdered?
In Sydney, Constable Corinne Walters and Diana Eucles are on their way to visit the mother of Bridget Clift, a 15-year-old who's been missing for a week.
Mum's quite concerned, obviously, because of her age, and I guess the fact that she has gone missing before and she is at that vulnerable, influential age where she can be easily led.
Hi, how you going?
Corinne from Missing Persons, how you going? Good. This is Diana.
Hi, Diana, nice to meet you.
Anything happened to spark this
No, she was just pretty much going off, and her sister seen her pack a few extra things in her bag, and she said, better go show Mum wants to see you. And I said, Bridget, come here, but no, pretty much walked out the door instead of coming to see me, and that was the last I seen of her.
OK, has she got any sort of injuries or illnesses?
No, but she suffers, like, depression and very low self-esteem. And it's getting a bit worrying.
Yeah.
Usually we hear that she's with someone, but not this time round.
OK.
Where would she go? Where does she like to hang out?
Down at the plaza.
The plaza's pretty much it.
Yeah, there's like a grassy area that they all hang out at. And
OK.
Corinne and Diana must first search for Bridget in the most obvious places, so they head straight to the plaza.
Hopefully, just by turning up and showing around her photo, we should at least be able to get another lead as where Bridget might be, so.
Ella fears her depressed daughter is alone and on the streets.
Come home, because we love you and we just want to help you. Help you get better and start realising that people do love you here, do care, and just want you home so you can have yourself a good life. And I just want a home. Just want your home, Bridge. Just come home. Enough's enough.
Back at headquarters, Gary Bailey is talking to Lucas Blacker, whose 77-year-old mother, Betty, is missing.
When did she actually go missing?
She left the retirement village yesterday after lunch.
Yep.
Technically, she became missing when she didn't return at 11 o'clock last night.
The most worrying part of Betty's disappearance is that, like 220,000 other Australians, she has dementia.
And what does she just sort of just get disorientated, does she, and just doesn't know where she is or something?
That's it. She thinks she does. Now, she comes across as being quite capable.
Yeah.
If you sat down and talked to her, you'd probably think that there's nothing wrong with her.
Appearing so capable, Betty could be missing in a city of over 4 million people, and no one would know she was in trouble. So Gary and Lee need to gather as much information as they can from her son, Lucas.
Hey, Lucas, how you going?
Not too bad.
Gary Bailey.
Hi, Gary.
Mr. Constable Hadley.
Lee Hadley.
How are you? Come in.
Thanks very much.
Take a seat on the lounge.
Yeah, it's sort of starting to get a bit disturbing, this, isn't it?
Yeah, we have found out that she was
at David Jones.
She was definitely there?
Yeah, they reckon about 2:30. We've known that she goes there, every time.
Yep.
We think she's got disorientated somehow and missed a stop at Beverly Hills Station. And once she gets off a train, she won't get back on another train.
Is she on any medication at all?
Yes, medication for dementia.
Yep. Did she have that with her, do you know?
No.
No.
If Betty is lost on the streets without her medication, she'll become even more confused. She needs to be found as soon as possible. "15-year-old Bridget Clift has been missing for a week. Suffering depression and fear to be living on the streets, Corinne and Diana can only hope her friends know more about where she might be.
They don't generally give their friends up, unfortunately, and they feel like they're going to get their friends in trouble, which they're not. You know, our concern is just finding them safe and well. So if we can, I guess, portray that to them, then they'll be more inclined to try and help us where they can.
How you going, guys?
We're just looking for a missing girl, Bridget. She's been missing for about a week.
I see her around a lot. Like, she's always around here, so she might be around here tonight or something, I don't know.
Hi. Look, we're just looking for a missing person by the name of Bridget.
I told you.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Bridget. Really?
Bridget.
Do you know where she is?
Bridget, not again.
We haven't seen her in a
She
week.
did this a lot.
Yes, she's done it before, so she's done it many
It's unexpected cooperation from Bridget's friends. These are hopeful signs that she's in the area. But what they tell Corinne is still worrying.
Yeah, like she was hanging around the wrong people. They were trying to get her into drugs and everything.
What sort of drugs?
Everything, just
Really?
weed, gas, everything.
I just don't know what her mental state is, and since speaking to a few people, or a few of the locals here that seem to know her, they've sort of indicated that she may have gotten into drugs or maybe hanging with the wrong crowd, or people that may be trying to encourage her to experiment with hard drugs.
Depression could make Bridget more susceptible to the lure of drugs, so it's critical she's found soon. Gary and Lee are heading into the city centre. 77-year-old dementia sufferer Betty Blacker has already spent one night lost and alone on the streets.
The real problem we have is finding Betty. Is she gets around and is actually a normal person. And until she sort of gets stuck in a spot and starts just hanging around there, people just sort of won't take any notice of her. We're going into David Jones. We've got some information that Betty was in there yesterday about 2:30 having some lunch.
At home, Lucas knows that the longer Betty's missing without her medication, the more likely she'll be to get lost and confused.
We're worried. I'm only hopeful that she's wandering around because if she's been taken into a hospital or something like that, we'd be aware of it by now. It's a hard situation because we sort of expected it to happen, but we don't know what to really feel at the moment. We're just hoping we get her back soon.
We've had no luck into David Jones. She definitely hasn't been in today. We're just going to go over to St James Railway now and have a look over there.
If she's not at David Jones, she's most likely to have got on a train. But if she has, there are over 300 train stations in Sydney where Betty may have got off. Although Betty is nowhere to be seen, if she was here, the station master might recognise her.
We've been looking for an old lady that sort of frequents around here. I don't know whether you might have seen her around at all. No, I haven't. Yeah. I wanted tomorrow, if she doesn't turn up tonight, we might get some good posters and that made up. But do you mind if you just put them around the... Not a problem.
Thank you.
OK.
There's no CCTV available at the station, so it's another dead end. If Betty is lost in the city somewhere, for now, police can only hope a Good Samaritan will notice her and offer help. Gary and Lee have received good news in the case of 77-year-old dementia sufferer Betty Blacker.
We're going over to see Mrs Blacker. She's been located. She's over at her son's place having some lunch. So we're just going to go over inside her and see if she can tell us anything about her little adventure she had.
Thanks to the missing persons reports, Betty was noticed by local police 30 hours after she went missing, only a few blocks from her retirement village.
Gary Bailey for the missing persons unit.
Oh, are you? Yes, well,
Too
I'm
bad.
missing at the moment.
You're not missing at the moment.
I'm Lee. How you going?
That's Lee. Ah. So you'll be glad to be home then?
I've been home for a long while. I mean, that happened ages ago, and I can't remember a lot about it either.
What can you remember?
I don't know what I can remember now. It seems so long ago.
Yeah, well, all we know, we got a call that you'd sort of gone missing from home. Is that right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And then sort of after that, we don't know where you went.
No, neither do I.
You can't remember?
No, I think I was somewhere down near the harbour. I don't know whether I was under the harbour bridge or not.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I might have been there because it's my harbour and I like it and I go down there a lot.
Yep.
And I'm a water person.
Yeah. It's a beautiful spot there, isn't it?
It is.
Can you remember the police picking you up?
No, well, I can't really. No, because I've got Alzheimer's.
Yes, I know that, yep. No. Yep.
And it's very handy at times. I'm sorry, but it is.
Yes.
And you know, it takes less energy to smile than it does to frown. So if you all laugh now, you'll be right.
Exactly. Mrs. Black is home safe and well. She doesn't remember much at all about her exercise at all. Just the memory's just gone. But there's now provisions being put in place at the nursing home where, you know, she just won't be allowed to go out willy-nilly. But it's a great result.
Across town, the search is still on for teenage runaway Bridget Clift, who's been missing for a week. And at only 15 years old, the stress of her disappearance is taking its toll on her family, who are also searching for her.
You know, you can't sit at home or it just sends you batty, so at least if you're out trying to find some information, it's better than nothing. I just want her home because I love so much, so yeah. The best we can do is everyone look, so yeah, for her.
Corinne's heard that Bridget and her friends are known to spend time around the train station. Even a local operational dog squad is asked to help in the search for Bridget.
We're from Missing Persons. We're just looking for this girl. Her name's Bridget. She's been missing for about a week. We're expecting that she'll probably get off a train shortly and head up to the Mondo.
Okay. Okay. Well, we're doing a controlled, like a drug dog operation today. We'll be here for at least a couple of hours anyway, for the rest of the afternoon, so we'll keep an eye out for her. No worries.
We're just looking for this girl. She's 15. Her name's Bridget. She lives around here. Have you seen her?
I've never seen her.
She lives around here. Have you seen her? No. Do you know her?
No, sorry.
The light is fading, and so are Corinne and Diana's hopes of finding Bridget anytime soon.
Oh, it's getting dark now. Where are you, Bridget?
But Bridget's friends think she might turn up at the plaza at night time.
Yes, she was here last week.
Oh, I'm sorry, just a couple of days ago. All of her friends are here. All of the local group that she usually hangs around are here, and no one's seen her tonight, so I'm pretty sure that she's steering clear of the area because she knows that we're trying to find her.
Although they're getting closer to finding Bridget, for now, Corinne and Diana can only hope she's somewhere safe for another night. It's day 2 in the search for missing teenager Bridget Clift, who's now been missing for 8 days. Corinne and Diana have been told by one of the locals that Bridget is staying at this address.
Hello?
No one's home, but a neighbour says he's seen her.
Standing at the tree there.
This tree just here?
Yeah, they were standing like on the road and the tree, and when I come past, they stepped out onto the road. And...
Was any of the girls that she was with, do they live next door here?
No, none of them I've seen around here before. That would have been about 8:30.
She's in a house.
8:30? Yeah.
Yeah, she was in a house somewhere. All right, well, look, thank you. Appreciate your help.
It's frustrating for Corinne and Diana, but at least now they know they're in the right area.
Hey, guys.
Can you just hang on a second?
We just need to make sure she's, like, visibly okay. See 3 girls walk past. Haven't seen this chick hanging around with 2 other chicks. If you do see her today, if you could give us a call and we can come back and try and find her.
Yeah, sort of.
No, there's no one on the platforms.
At Echo Point in the New South Wales Blue Mountains, an unidentified body found by walkers deep in the bush has opened a case shrouded in mystery.
Quite an experienced bushwalker did venture up to the cliff line and actually stumbled across the body.
But when finally discovered, the body was already in a decomposed state.
Because it had been here for such a prolonged period, that native animals had taken to the body and obviously caused it to separate.
Such a terrible way to go, and there's obviously family and friends out there that are missing him, and I think we really need some closure for their sake.
In the vicinity where he would have
It's an unusual case for the Missing Persons Unit. It's not a person, but their identity that's missing. So, back at headquarters, Constable Joe Williams cross-checks all missing persons databases across Australia, hoping to find a possible link. And soon enough, she does.
The missing person said that he was going to go and rent a house in the Blue Mountains area.
59-year-old Perth man Wayne Druitt was reported missing by his family 12 months before the remains were found.
We found out that he was an ex-army sergeant, so we contacted the Defence Force, who have provided us with the dental records of the missing person, and we've contacted the forensic dentist at Westmead Morgue, and we're going to go down there today and get a dental comparison done against the unidentified body and this missing person.
Gary's now on a case that's threatening to tear a family apart.
But you haven't heard anything from your daughters?
No, not yet, mate.
He's on the phone to the father of teenage sisters who are rebelling against their strict upbringing.
You dropped them off at school yesterday, was it?
Yeah, we dropped them off there and that was it, yeah.
Do they have a school uniform on or something, or?
They had their school uniform on, yeah.
Yeah.
The sisters, Natasha, 14, and Nazia, 17, left no clues to their whereabouts or their intentions, apart from a disturbing letter to their parents.
What did that basically say?
Well, the letter saying, thank you for, be there for us all this time and everything, for sickness, and like, such a sad letter to start off.
Yep.
And they just want to live a different path and, like, not to contact them and all that sort of thing.
It's very unusual for 2 children from one family to go missing at the same time. Gary needs to speak to their parents.
We've done so many of these, the children, they just don't think, that they've left a note there this time, but that means nothing, Really, they would have been better off to talk with the family and try and talk it over. Obviously, they've got some sort of grievance there. It'll be interesting when we do find them, just to see what is going on. Well, that's obviously quite disturbing for you. They've never done this before, the girls?
No.
Not at all?
No. As far as we knew, they went to school, but they usually ring me up and let me know wherever they are. But yesterday there was no phone calls. They left their phone behind. They just left everything behind, so they cannot be contacted.
So currently they don't have a phone with them?
No.
All their parents have is this distressing letter.
Dear Mum and Dad, there's not much to say for what we have done, but it is our own choosing. We want to lead a different path because life only comes once. And let us follow our dreams and to do what we need, but no matter what happens in the future, we will cherish all of the family and both inspirational parents. Thanks to God, we are likely to be alive and living it to the most. This can be a learning experience, and be thankful we didn't kill ourselves or harm, which could lead to more complications. Love forever, Naz and Natasha.
Yeah, it's very powerful, isn't it?
Very powerful and very worrying. Young girls talking about life and death.
Keep your chin up and I hope we can find them quick for you.
I hope so, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
As Gary and Phil head off to start the search for the girls, Mohammed pleads for his daughters to come home.
Yes, Nazi, Natasha, we all love you very much. All the families are missing you. Please come back home and we can sort of work things out.
On the case of missing 15-year-old Bridget Clift, Corinne and Diana are returning to the address where she was last seen. Last time they were here, there was no one home.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
We're just from the missing persons unit.
G'day, how you going?
I've had this before, but yeah.
Just looking for this girl. She's a friend of Kerry Ann's.
Kellyanne, my daughter,
Kellyanne.
yeah.
Yeah.
She's been staying here for the few days.
Do you mind if we come in for a sec and I'll just get some details off you? Is that okay?
No, that's fine. I'd say they're coming home, but I don't know what time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Bridget?
Corinne and Diana have finally caught up with the runaway 15-year-old Bridget Clift, feared to be depressed and on drugs.
Listen, you're not in any trouble. Come here. Look at me. You're not in any trouble, okay? You're not in any trouble. We've been trying to tell everyone that you're not in any trouble with police. We're just desperate to find you to make sure you're okay, all right? Are you okay? All right. Do you want to come and sit down and talk to us and tell us what's been going on?
I don't want to go, please.
We've been out looking for you. Look at this. Everywhere. Your mum and your sister have been out looking for you everywhere. They've been worried about you.
She told me to go away and never come back. I didn't.
Although Bridget still doesn't want to go home, her mother's glad to hear she's been found safe.
No life living where you're not with family. Yeah, we miss you. If it wasn't for these people, I wouldn't have been found and that would have been good. We're looking for you.
Corinne can see that there's more to the story than just a teenage tantrum.
It seems to me like maybe Bridget needs to speak to...
I've done enough counselling. I'm not doing anymore. No way. Counselling doesn't work. I speak to somebody...
If she goes home, there's nothing that's going to chain her to her room. There's no guarantee that she's going to stay, OK? I think what we need to do is work out the cause and the reason behind why she's left.
She just doesn't like me. I don't want to go home at all. Pretty upset because I love her so much. I just wanted to come home and see that we're trying everything we can to help her.
I know she's only 15, but you got to work through what the problem is.
Yeah, I've been trying
we'll work
really
through
hard
it,
to.
and we'll find out the solution. And what you want is for Bridget to want to be there. And at the moment,
yeah, I do.
But
she doesn't feel it.
And that's normal, though. It's normal. It's part of being a teenage girl. I think so.
Although it's not a perfect outcome, Ella's still grateful.
Thank you very much. Thanks. I know it was a lot of running around, but thank you very much for finding her. I was so grateful that he's found her because I would never have found her here. And thanks heaps for all your help. Yep.
I think she's had a bit of a tough time. I think they've got a bit to go through as a mother and daughter.
Back at headquarters, Constable Liz Drake is on the case of another missing 15-year-old. Christy Bullock has been missing for a week.
It's been said that she may be with a 19-year-old male that's possibly her boyfriend. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What's missing from her room? Has she taken anything in particular that you've noticed?
No, just clothes. She hasn't even taken a toothbrush. And she's very, brushes her teeth 3 times a day.
Very hygienic girl.
Yeah.
So you think wherever she's gone, there's one there for her already?
I would say so, yeah.
OK. Because she's done this quite a few times before. Has she said when she's returned home where she's actually been?
No.
Never?
I'm sick of rules, was her words. I'm sick of rules and I'm moving out.
Right.
Over half of reported runaways are teenagers, often simply because they're not getting their own way. It can become frustrating for the police, who spend so much of their time trying to get them home. But what's worse is that this runaway should know better.
Christy Lee, halfway through last year, came second in her grade. So she's quite a smart child.
Police deal with runaway kids all the time. It's extremely frustrating. We use a lot of police resources to find these kids that simply choose to run away, but there could be something else going on. In this case, being with the 19-year-old male, it could be quite serious. So that's why we need to take every case seriously. I'm Liz, this is Diana. I spoke to you on the phone earlier. Is there somewhere we can have a chat? All right, so basically Leanne would just came just to see if we can get any more leads, to see if we can find Christy.
That's the 5th time she's done it.
Yeah.
So
and you just figure
she'll come back in a couple of days.
So this is the longest.
This is the longest, yeah.
Okay, which is quite worrying, obviously. All right then, and you've been in contact with the principal of the school?
I have, yeah.
Yep, and they've said that she hasn't even been attending since the 18th.
That's correct, yeah.
So we're really looking at a week and a half that she's actually been missing.
That's right,
which is quite a scary thought.
We've been to counselling for the last few months, and obviously I thought everything was getting better.
So how are you feeling at the moment?
I just want her back.
Yeah.
Everyone loves her. She's the favourite.
We'll get out there and see if we can find her and maybe try and talk some sense into her as well. See if we can get her to stop doing this.
I hope so.
On the mysterious case of the unidentified body found at Echo Point, Constable Williams has enlisted the help of world-renowned forensic dentist Dr. Chris Griffiths, who identified the victims of backpacker killer Ivan Milat. He will now cross-reference the Echo Point remains with the dental records of missing man Wayne Druitt.
I've been told they're fairly decomposed because they've been there for some time. So, and the flesh is partly mummified, but we'll open the bag and see what we can find. There's been a lot of fracturing here. The actual jaw is fractured here. The other half is still in place, locked into the skull. This person's had a considerable amount of dental work. You see quite a lot large existing fillings here. So you can really have a bit of a good estimate to start with. This person was born prior to 1968. Because after 1968 you had fluoride come in and you had very little, dental work, not extensive dental work like this. This army member's got no teeth at all in his upper jaw. He's had a full upper denture made back in 1980s.
The results are a double disappointment. Wayne Druitt is still missing and the man's identity is still a mystery. So, to help the Missing Persons Unit give the man a name, Dr. Griffiths does a thorough analysis to create a forensic map.
What Dr. Hyam and I have done here is to actually try and get as much dental evidence as we can from the remains to help the missing persons police be able to identify this person and have them returned to their family as soon as possible.
Yeah, hello. I was after Dr. Satisno, please.
The skull will now be sent to a facial identification expert who will hopefully be able to give the dead man a face.
There's obviously family or friends who are out there wanting closure, so it's a very important step.
In Sydney, Liz and Diana are on their way to the high school where missing 15-year-old Christy Bullock is enrolled.
We're off to see Christy's principal, have a bit of a chat with her, see if she's got any leads for us. I mean, she might know some of Christy's friends. She might be able to tell us who she's been hanging out with, give us some names, some addresses, see who we can actually chat to get some more information. It's very common for teenagers to keep this code of silence with each other. They need to forget this code of silence because people are worried. It's selfish and we need to know where they are.
When Liz and Diana arrive at the school, they're in for a surprise. Christy has just turned up, but the principal is worried that if she sees the police, she'll do a runner. So suggests Liz and Diana block the escape routes.
Do you want me to go that way?
One can go through that entrance and one through the
Cops are here. Christy.
And as expected, Christy is not happy to be found.
My name's Liz. I'm with the Missing Persons Unit. We just want to talk to you and just find out what maybe we could do in order to help you stop doing this, because this is just not healthy. So do you want to give us a rundown on why you keep running away?
I'm not allowed to do anything, pretty much.
You're not allowed to do anything?
Yeah.
Like what?
Like see friends.
That's a bit of a cop-out.
It's not a good enough excuse for Liz.
It's selfish, and you need to understand that you're wasting our time.
Yeah.
You are worrying people sick. You are 15, not 20. You live under your mum's roof. That means mum's rules.
In 3 years, you'll be 18. You can do whatever you want.
Apparently, you're a really smart girl. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yep. And your grades have been slipping?
Yeah.
Why?
I really don't know.
Can you imagine what your mum would be feeling every single night when she went to bed? Where's my daughter? Is she dead in a ditch? Has she been raped? Has she been murdered? And I can tell you right now, it would be the most horrible feeling in the world. You want to piss off for a week without any contact whatsoever, and you think that's okay. It's wrong. And you need to stop. You need to stop worrying your mum, and you need to stop wasting our time. Do you understand that? Use that intellectual brain of yours and think about what you want to say to your mum.
Sorry?
That would be a good start. What are you sorry for?
It's a tough approach, but Liz hopes it will smooth the way for Christy's mother. In the case of runaway sisters Natasha and Nazia, Gary is visiting the police officer who wrote the original missing persons report.
Gary Bailey, missing persons, mate. How you going?
How you going?
We believe you might sort of know a little bit more. Some of the boys from here have been around this morning.
We've had a few leads through the morning, and at the moment we've got a lead that's going to Minto. We assume it's at a refuge house. We've made some inquiries, but it still has to be followed up by police. And we've got just the information of the refuge on the back. It's on the back there, isn't it?
They pass on an address where the sisters may be found.
We've got a report that these two young girls may be in a refuge out at Minto. So we're just going to go out there and see if we can sight them. Even though we got the youngest girl, she's 14, if she's at this refuge, it's a reputable refuge, we don't really have any power just to go in and drag her out, you know. It does get very frustrating because we'd really like to know what their story is to what's happened at home and try and get a reason as to why they left.
Security and confidentiality prevent us from showing the refuge and its whereabouts. But if the sisters are there, Gary should have his answer shortly. Across town at Sydney's University of Technology, forensic anatomist Dr. Maya Sutisno is painstakingly creating a face for the unidentified Echo Point man.
What we have in the box is the actual skull, the original skull of the Echo Point remains. And although it looked quite intact at this stage, we did find it in little pieces, and it took hours to piece it together to eventually get a facial structure. As well, for example, you can see here the mandible was also in pieces, which we then had to reconstruct into a proper form. And from these two, we were able to then create a duplicate, a perfect cast, in which we can then start the reconstruction.
No two skulls are alike, so by meticulously rebuilding layer upon layer of tissue, Dr. Sutisno will be able to create an accurate likeness of the man.
We have guidelines to follow, which to recreate the eyes or placement of the eyeball, you know, where it's going to be located in the socket, and is it going to be protruding eyes, those goggle eyes, or is it going to be deep-set eyes? All that information we can gain from the intricacies, the formation of the skull.
This reconstruction could be the missing link to making a positive identification.
To know that eventually it is to put someone else's mind at rest, it's more motivating to know that we were able, well, science is able to help someone in grief and put closure and start the grieving process.
Constable Liz Drake has been taking the tough approach with repeat runaway Christy Bullock.
It annoys me no end when you turn up and all they've got for you is a look of absolute contempt. It's not good enough.
Her mum's arrived to take her home.
Where have you been? Why did you run away?
I'm sick of not being allowed to do things.
But it looks like Christy has already forgotten Liz's advice.
Christy, how about you don't speak to your mother like that and tell her what you were telling me? Something you had to say to her?
Sorry for putting you through that pain.
Do you mean it?
Yes.
Your mum has a right to know who you've been with, where you've been, what time you were there.
Where's all your belongings?
People's houses.
No, Christy, that's not good enough. It's not good enough. Names, addresses, that's what it's come down to.
I don't know addresses.
Names, then.
Names.
Ash.
Although it turns out Christy has not been staying with a 19-year-old, she's still showing no remorse for the heartache suffered by her mother.
I'm sorry, but it doesn't fly. You go to school, you go home, you abide by the rules. That's it. There's nothing else to it. You're a child.
Just come in and see me in the morning, all right? Just pop in and say hi. You're at school, OK? All right. OK, take care.
Okay.
All right, see ya. See you later.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
OK, I hope this is the last time, Christy. I don't want to see your file on my desk again. OK?
Mm-hmm.
Great. All right, well, you take care. I hope things improve with you with Mum. All right? It does annoy me, but in saying that, we did find her, and that was the whole point of this. It's what we do. I just hope that they can begin to mend their relationship and be able to communicate a bit more with each other so this doesn't happen again.
It's a bittersweet result. The situation is resolved, for now, but only time will tell if Christy will continue running away from home. There's good news for Gary. He's found the missing Janef sisters. They are living in a refuge.
It's like a crisis centre in there, and we've spoken to the girls. They're in safe hands, but they're very confused. The whole issue of why they've left reverts back to foreign cultural differences. There's been talk of arranged marriages and things like that, and the elder girl just can't take it anymore, so they've had to go.
Two cultures have collided and have pushed a family apart. It's a boundary Gary won't cross.
We'll now go back and we'll talk to the parents. We can't disclose where these two girls are. It's no doubt it'll probably break their hearts. Hopefully maybe some mediation. The girls may get back to their parents, but it doesn't look real good at this stage.
So now Gary has the difficult task of telling their parents the heartbreaking news.
They're safe and well at the moment. But at this stage, they don't want to come home. And there's certain issues they've brought up about cultural issues in the family, and that's the main reason why they've left. I'd say they're not happy little girls, they're very unhappy, but I can assure you they're very safe where they are at the moment.
Yep.
If there was any concerns there, well, we would have brought the younger one home. At the moment, she's better off there, because if we brought her home, she would be gone in the morning, you know?
Yeah.
It's tough for Mohammed and Sandra to accept that their beliefs may have driven their daughters away.
The main thing is that we know they're safe and well, so That's my main thing. If they can take a week or two or whatever, so we all can sort of, even they have to, yeah.
It's going to be a matter of probably mediation and things, and Doc's just going to have to work out what's going to go on.
Nothing is more important to Mohammed than his two girls, and he'll do anything to have them back at home.
Lately, we know they've sort of grown up. They sort of like to do things on their own way, so we might just have to adjust to that and let them, okay, you just go your way and do it. No, they might be happy that way. I just hope one day they will grow up and they'll get the time. Will, it's just a bad time for them too, I suppose. They're changing in a lot of ways at the moment. Yeah, it's a lot of changes in their life. It makes it hard, eh? Babies. I never thought they were gonna hang us like this.
Probably not the ideal in. We've got two unhappy girls in a refuge, and we've got two unhappy parents in the house here. But probably what will come out of this will be good is that eventually they'll get back together, they can sort out the differences, girls can get some freedom, and it'll probably be a good result.
14-year-old Natasha did eventually come home, but Nazia, her older sister, is still living away from the family. Nearby in the CBD, Steve McAllister is returning to see Dr. Satisno, who's now made the finishing touches to the reconstruction of the Echo Point skull.
Here it is.
That's it?
This is the actual reconstruction of the unknown man from Echo Point.
Through forensic technology, she's accurately recreated the image of what the deceased man once looked like. He was Caucasian with Aboriginal traits.
You're just waiting for him to talk, really, aren't you? It's just amazing looking at that.
Yeah. Well, this left ear is a perfect duplicate of the unknown individual's left ear.
So that was still intact?
That was left intact,
Right,
yes.
OK. And from what you've seen from the remains which were located, you could work out the hair he was thinning on top of that?
There were remnants of hair there, and which gave us length and colouring, as well as a pattern of balding.
Right. So really you've had to do a 3D jigsaw puzzle.
Exactly,
and putting it together.
With such a close likeness, the police can now use the image in an appeal to the public.
Well, that was fantastic. That's a lifelike image of what we hope is a person whose remains were found, and hopefully by getting it out in the media, we might be able to find relatives of that person, actually put a name to his remains.
Every year, over 35,000 people are reported missing in Australia. Have you seen Laura Hayworth, who went missing from Queanbeyan in 2008? Or Stephen Atkinson, last seen in Orange on August 2007? And Gregory Christiansen, who disappeared from Port Germain in 2003. If you have any information, please call 1-800 333 000.